so excited because while I was at Creativation, I got my brand new Wild Whisper releases, and as you know, they're one of my favorite things to play with. So this is going to be a layout using the More Adventure collection. This cut file, I'm going to back it with all the different patterns from the collection, and I'm going to back this cut file. This is a Paige Evans cut file from Silhouette, and it's super duper cute and perfect for what I have in mind for this layout. So what I'm doing is I am just going ahead and backing this cut file with all the different patterns from the cards and from the 12 by 12 papers. This year Wild Whisper is doing something really awesome, and that is that you can buy a double pack of their 12 by 12 papers, which means you get 2 of every design, so you get more papers. And you can also do that with the cards. You can get more cards if you would like more cards. And I'm super duper excited about that, because that means when I create my layouts, I don't have to be super stingy with my paper. I can totally go ahead and back cut files with lots of patterns, use different patterns for backgrounds, just lots of super fun design things I can do. So I'm really excited about that. So I just left this in here just to show you, this is just your normal back a cut file type thing. Not hard. Some of the patterns I'm using are from the cards. Some of the patterns I'm going to be using are from the 12 by 12 papers. And so after I'm done and after I've backed the cut file with some of the patterns, I'm going to use the leftover strips. I'm going to trim them off, and I'm going to use them to back my photo. So I'm going to have a really nice, as you can see here, I'm inking everything up, and then I'm going to go ahead and just back my photo with all these little bits of scrap paper to create a messy mat for my photo. So there's my cut file, totally done. And you can see kind of the photograph up at the top. Sorry about the little bit of glare that's there. My video cut out a bit early. I think it's because I used so many techniques on this video, on this layout, that I think my iPad went to sleep before I finished it. So the end of the video is a little bit cut up, but that's okay. I turned the camera back on and kind of showed you some close-ups of what I did. So this is where I think I want my die cut and my photo to go. And so I'm going to do some guidelines. I'm going to stamp a border down the left side of my paper, and I want it to be 1/3 of the way in. So I'm just going to make some guidelines for my stamped border, and then also where my photo is going to go, just to help me when I do my stamping to know where everything needs to be placed. And I'm not worried about the pencil marks because I have that Tombow Mono eraser right there on my desk ready to go. So as I create, I can kind of erase away those pencil marks and you will never see them again. So these are the stamping inks I've chosen. I've chosen 2 Distress Oxides, one in Cracked Pistachio, one in Worn Lipstick, and then I also am going to bring in some of my very favorite Distress ink, which is the Vintage Photo. So I'm just going to stamp a design, find a design I like. I'm going to alternate my ink colors, and I decided to do it this way and not to get out my stamp platform, only because I have plans for this stamp, and it doesn't matter. They can be a little smudgy, they cannot stamp completely, and you're going to see what I'm going to do with that in a little bit here. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to find a rhythm. I'm going to find a pattern I like, kind of repeat that pattern all the way down the side as I go. Again, these are the More Adventure stamps, and they are, as all stamps from Wild Whisper are, they're beautiful and they stamp fabulously. So there is my stamp background, and you can see how bright the stamping is at the bottom, and they don't really match the colors, but at the top they do, and that's because I'm going to distress them up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, well, first I'm going to grab myself a piece of scratch paper to put underneath my layout. And so this is what I did. Very simple. I'm just going over the entire border with my Distress ink in Vintage Photo. And what that's doing is that is deepening the colors of the oxide inks, and then they will perfectly match the tones that are in the rest of the collection. It also makes them just kind of blend in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some water and I'm going to toss some water on my layout. I wanted nice big drops, so I'm going with nice big drops. And I let it sit there, 25-30 seconds, maybe-ish, not very long at all. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my paper towels and just soak up some of that. So then you have more of a distressed look down the side of the page, which I liked very much. Something about Wild Whisper collections always makes me want to get messy. So I don't know why that is. And for the last piece of my layout, so this is probably the reason my iPad decided to shut off. I'm going to hand cut a title. So what I'm doing is I just kind of loosely drew my title, the first letter, and then I'm going to use the first letter to kind of help me with the size of all of my other letters. And I just had a lovely time, and when you see my title, you will understand why. This title is rather large, and I hand cut all of these letters by hand. So pretty easy, not hard to do at all. I think it made a really fun, kind of different titling option. And again, I have the double paper packs, so I was just, whatever I could do with paper, I was doing it. So this is going to be my last little letter here, and my full title is You Are Unbearably Cute. And so I went ahead and I cut all of those little letters, and suddenly the bear makes sense, doesn't it? Now I'm just going to go ahead and kind of clean up a little bit. I'm going to cut some of these bigger scraps down. I did this because I thought maybe I would end up using them, and I do think I ended up using that little pink piece. But I do like to, when I'm working with a collection in between my layouts, I do like to trim off the blocks of paper. So I have, squares or rectangles or something that it seems a little bit more usable to me. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to ink the edge of all of the letters with my Distress ink and get all of the letters put down where I want them. I used, here I'm just adhering down this photo, and then I'm going to adhere down the cut file. So I started out just laying this cut file right on the paper, but later on, and this didn't make it onto camera, I do flip it over and pop it up with some pop dots just to make it nice and big and give it some dimension. I'm kind of thinking about smushing them together, but I don't like, there's like some white space there. I kind of pointed to it and I'm like, I'm not sure what I would fill it with or if I wanted to fill it or how that would work. And as it turns out, that was a good choice because my title ended up working perfectly in there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my T-square ruler so that I get my title exactly straight in the way that I would like it to be. And this is actually a new T-square ruler because when I was in Arizona, my youngest son, who loves to use my T-square ruler, has the sword, every chance he gets, swiped it and busted it. So I made my husband run to Michael's and get me a new one because I kind of view that as a scrapbooking essential. So I went through my stash and I grabbed some pink and teal colored Ellie's Studio letters to finish my title. So my full title is going to be You're Unbearably Cute, even with a troll face, because that is the face my son is making in this photo. That's what he calls that face. I don't know where he got it from. I have no idea what the idea is in it, but he makes that face and he calls it his troll face. So yeah. Because I have the hand cut letters at the top, I wanted to make the other letters different colors and wonky. So I'm using big letters and small letters and mixing them all up and mixing up the colors between the three different between these three different letter stickers, and just really making everything kind of wonky and different sizes and different layers. So this is where my video is going to cut off, and then I'll come back and show you all the different things I did to it. I didn't do too much more after this. I added some of my Vicky Bouton stamping. I added the date at the top and a little bit of a stamp. I added some pop tops from my collection, and yeah. So that will complete this layout, but you can understand why my poor little iPad turned off, right? Look at all those fab techniques I used. Here's a close-up, and you can also see more of the layout and more close-ups over on the Wild Whispers blog. Have a fabulous day. Bye!